I will show you what I'm doing today. Today I'm doing some jig welding. I've got several parts here. I've got this sleeve here, and then I've got a bar. I've got this bar, and this bar slides into these holes that are already cut out, and I will drop this in my jig, and then I've got this square nut that I weld right up top here. And today I have to do like 120 of these. So when you got to do more than one, maybe more than 10, it's probably worth it to just set up some type of a jig so that you know every piece will be in the exact same location every time. I know that this handle will be centered with this sleeve every single time that I weld it. And that's the purpose of a jig. Makes it easy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm tacking everything in place, getting it all set up, tacking it in place, and then I'm setting it over to the side. Once I get everything tacked in place, then I'm gonna come back and do a full weld on it. This is one of two pieces. The other piece I have completely done. They're already all tacked up, but it's the same thing. It's a sleeve with this bushing, and I have another jig set up over here for this, and I can show you that. So I'll bring you over, let you get an up close look at this jig. All right, so like I said, this handle goes in here. It needs to be centered with this sleeve. And if you don't have a jig, you're just kind of eyeballing it or you're measuring it, and so you could be off a little bit from one side to the other. And so to prevent that, when I put this in the jig, I've got this piece, this angle iron that centers that sleeve. I've got these that center the bar, and then I've got these right here that center each side of the bar. So when I drop that in place, I know everything's completely centered right where I want it to be, and I tack it in place. Once it's tacked, it's not going anywhere, and then I can move it out of my way and come back and final weld it. Same thing with this piece here. Here's the sleeve. This is already tacked in place, but I've got this jig built up. Stick the bushing through the hole that's already pre-drilled, and then I fit this screw through. That lines this bushing up. It keeps it centered, and then I just tack it in place. It's that simple. And that's 120 of these each, so that's 240 pieces that I have to tack in place and fully weld. So it really makes sense to have a jig set up for this kind of work. So with that, I am going to get my new gloves on and get to work. I only have about 6 more of these I need to tack up, and then we'll start our final welding on everything. So over here are all the ones that I have ready to go. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to tack these things up. It is very tedious work, but it's not hard work. The hard work is going through and finish welding all this. I'm actually, I'm pretty lucky today because it's pretty cool in the shop. I don't have heat in the shop, and it's a pretty cool day. So going through and welding all these up, I should be cool temperature wise. I shouldn't get too hot or too overheated, but when you're doing this much welding in a day, and if it's hot outside and the shop is hot, it can make for a really, really long day. And I've done that before, and it's not fun, but today's really cool, so it's gonna be a great day to get these welded up.
Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. let's go. Dance floor pro, I know, you know, I go psycho when my new joint hit. Just can't sit, gotta get jiggy with it. Ooh, that's it, now honey, honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eye. You got a Prada bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend, let's spin. Everybody looking at me. Everybody looking at me. Everybody looking at me.